Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the Terramaster F2-424 NAS. Now this NAS is designed for home use, and today I'm going to show you how to install an M.2 drive, how to install hard disks using toolless entry, and also the software behind this NAS. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let's install an M.2 SSD. To do this, take out the two back screws. Then you're going to pull the case towards you and it will pop off the top, and you can see there are the M.2 slots. I'm using this 512GB NVMe SSD. I'm going to unscrew the screw, pop the SSD in and screw it back in again. Once that's done, you can see one of the two slots are used. Now if I pop the lid on and slide it back and just pop the screws back in as shown. Regarding the back I/O, we have the power button, a HDMI port, a Thunderbolt port, a USB 3 port, two 2.5GB Ethernet ports, and your 12V input for power. So to insert a hard drive, we're going to first take out the caddy by pushing on the top and pulling out. As you can see, it's very easy to take out. Now to take off the drive caddy, you pull the plastic piece at the side and then insert your hard drive and pop it back on as shown here. It's very easy to set up the drives and I'm very pleased. Let's pop it back in by pushing the top and sliding it in place. Obviously off camera I've done the same with this one, and I'm going to pop that one in now. So that's the hardware. Let's plug the device in, so grab the 12V input, pop that in, and I'll pop my Ethernet cable in there. Push the power button. Let's get started. So now that we've configured the hardware, here we are on the PC where we're going to download TNAS PC for Windows, and this will allow us to connect to our Terramaster and start setting the software up. I'm very excited, as you know, because I love software. So I'll meet you when I've installed this application and we will get started. So all I did was install and open the app, and you can see it's already found my NAS, so you can see it's got an IP address. And I'm guessing we could just click login here. So this will open up a new window in Google Chrome, which I will get up for you now. And then we will go ahead and set up bootloader. You can see here it's downloading the bootloader from the server. It's version 104. Let's just wait for this. Here we are. So we're on initialization. So I'm going to click start. So this will initialize all the drives, I'm guessing. I've not got a compatible hard drive, so I'm just going to continue anyway, but it isn't recommended to continue. I'm just going to do a custom and we'll just see what will happen here. So it's going to check these. So it's got the NVMe drive, the Samsung 512 gigs NVMe, and it's got my two 2TB drives. Now they are mismatched, which can cause stability issues. You can see the NVMe is initialized. It's still checking the hard drives, which I'm guessing will take a bit longer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it on this and we'll see how long it takes. It says 3 to 10 minutes, so let's see. So just as I stop recording, it has actually initialized them all. So if I click on next and then click confirm, because I do know that it will initialize all disks, I'm just going to do the online install, which is the recommended, and click on next. I'm going to wait for this to install now, and then we will get onto the software. So the NAS is restarting. It is making a beeping sound, which I'm guessing means it's changing power state. So we will see how long it takes to reboot. It's showing a 5-minute timer. Now obviously that does depend on how quick it is, of course. So I'm guessing this is a grace period, and then when it restores connectivity it will continue. So it took about 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and now you can see that we are on an initialization page. So it's saying that the root user has been disabled to increase the system security, so I'm fine with that. So if I click confirm, we now get the super user settings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to name it home NAS. The username I'll just keep as admin. It doesn't like the word admin, so I'm just going to put Harvey, and then a password security email. Let's just pop that in, and then it looks like it wants a security code. So let's just wait for that. So there we go, I've put the code in, so I'll click next. Now it's asking what I want to do for the RAID. So I can see it's telling me I'm going to have 2.5 terabytes of free space with 2 terabytes of redundancy in the T-RAID mode, or I can deselect the NVMe, which I'm going to do because I'm going to see if you can set it up in sort of a cache mode. So here's RAID 1, or you can put them in RAID 0. I'm just going to stick with T-RAID, which is Terramaster's own RAID. I'm going to keep it on T-RAID because I'm going to see how this performs. If I click on next, I'm just going to call it volume, click on next. BTRFS, I really like it, so I'm going to keep it as that because I do know it's great. Click on next again, so it's again warning me that the data is going to be erased. I'm fine with that, and it looks to be ready to use, so if I click next, you can see there's an EULA here. If you go through that, I'm just going to give it a read now, and then just click on accept if you do accept it. So confirm, and here we are. So this is TOS 5.1. So it looks like it's doing a security scan at the moment, and it's also synchronizing the T-RAID pool. So I'm guessing that the performance will be affected whilst it synchronizes. You can see there 316 minutes, but you can see here I've got a few things at risk. Again, I've just started this up, so we'll see how long the synchronization takes. You can see there's hypercache here. Now I wonder if I can do that just a bit later on. It's grayed out now, but maybe that's just because the storage pool is synchronizing. So just whilst it synchronizes, we'll go through some of the software that we do get. So what I did do, instead of waiting for it to synchronize, I have just set up a RAID 0. So this is what the login screen looks like. I'm just going to log in now, and you can see there we're logged in. So if I go back to control panel and go to storage pool, you can see we're in RAID 0. Let's see if I can set up hypercache. So if I click create now, you can see there that's fine, and you can see the disk here, it's showing single disk because there's only one of the two M.2 slots used. That's fine. If I click on next and confirm again. So there's a different modes. There's balance mode, which preloads read cache acceleration, so it's going to read and write to the SSD cache and the hard disk at the same time. Or there's read and write mode, which allows both read and write cache acceleration. I'm just going to keep it on balance mode right now and click on next. This one's fine, and I'm assigning it to volume 1, which is our 4 terabyte RAID 0 array. If I click next and confirm, that's going to create the hypercache, which shouldn't take too long at all, and you can see it's still configuring. But once that's configured, we will have accelerated read-write access. So the hypercache is useful if you have, for example, hard drives that may only get up to 400 megabytes per second in RAID 0. So because SSDs are so quick with the read and write speeds, it allows the SSD to speed up the read and write of the array. Say if you're in RAID 1, in RAID 0 it'll be even quicker. So you can see the SSD cache is now enabled. Let's see how the software performs. So this is my first time using the software, so I thought I would go through it with you. So on the main desktop screen, we'll call it a desktop, we have File Manager, which I'm guessing when there's files populated, you can see there, please use SMB. I'm fine with that. Once the folders are populated, you will see your files in here. You can see there's also a homes folder with my user in there. There's also App Center. We'll go into that in a moment because that is probably a nice application to leave just for now. We've got Control Panel, which is what we've just been in. You can see there's a lot of options, including Resource Monitor and Overview, and I'm guessing this is how you set up a shared folder and also manage your applications that are installed. There's also some storage management options, such as what disks, if you want virtual disks, if there's any USBs plugged into it, Hotspur, Hypercache, which we've gone through, and storage pool management. In general settings, these are just the generic settings that you may want to change, such as hardware, so what is the fan working in, full speed, automatic, and the buzzer, such as when RAID is degraded, or SSD cache, system boot, etc. You can also have a power on and off schedule and connect it to a UPS as well. which is great. Again, you've got some time settings, etc. We'll leave that out. There's a system option, which is where we can check for updates. Also at the bottom we have an overview on system, which shows the load on the CPU and the memory usage. Also at the side here at the top we do have a system info, and we can see CPU usage, memory usage, etc. So it was just a cache issue, but you can see the CPU usage, etc. is now showing correctly. If we go to remote access, let's see what this is. So tnas.online, so we can remotely access using our web browser. In the browser, enter. I'm not going to enable this because it does actually pose security risks to your network, but if you did want to access your NAS from anywhere, you would enable this and set this up. So let's go to App Center. So it looks like there's quite a few apps, including CloudSync, which is nice to see. Docker Engine, so we can run Docker containers, it looks like, which will make use of the RAM. Surveillance Manager, so you can run surveillance cameras, and it looks to be Terra Photos, which may be a great thing to look at. MB directly on the server, so and Plex as well, which is great to see. It's a shame there's no Jellyfin on there. Maybe there will be if I do some further digging. And the same with Docker Manager. Now I do know that this NAS does run on Linux, so that means you can pretty much do whatever you like with it. But obviously you're going to void your support with this software if you start going into terminal and installing your own things. On Community App, you can see, as I've just said, you must accept any risks, etc. in the community apps. I'm going to agree to that. But now it's going to take us to the community web place, which you can see there's quite a few more apps. I would like to see if there is Jellyfin because I'm a personal user. Oh, there is there's Jellyfin, and it looks like you download a TPK file, which is like an app package for Terramaster, and obviously it will import that in settings, the install application manually. I'm not going to mess with that right now. What I'm going to do is create a share, and then we'll see what file transfer is like, and from there we can obviously go on to test some more things out, such as the applications. So to create a share, if we go to control panel, shared folder, and then click the little plus for create, and we're just going to name it test. So you can hide this folder. I'm just going to leave it at default. Click on next. There's an encryption option. I'm going to enable recycle bin, that's great. Set permissions by user, that's fine. And I'm going to give myself read and write, which is grayed out because I am the admin of the system. You can also do a storage quota, which is a BTRFS feature, which is great to see, especially for stuff like Docker that you only want 50 gig assigned to, for example. We'll click on next and confirm. That should now create the share. So to navigate to the NAS, we're doing / 10.0.0.20 for me, and let's wait for it to load. Sorry, it's 29. It should ask for a username and password when it does load, and then we'll be ready to view all the shares. So I've loaded that up, and you can see there's a Harvey folder, which is the home folder, or there's the test share. So I'm just going to map this network drive like so. And if we look here, you can see 3.61 terabytes. Now what I'm going to do is copy over something 600 megabyte AMD driver, just as an example. Now this won't be the full 2.5 gigabit, just because I've only got 1 gigabit switch, so we should see in the neighborhood of around 112 megabytes per second, which is the maximum for 1 gigabit. You can see around 106 megabytes per second. It is climbing near the max speed of a gigabit per second. A bigger file now, 4.5 gigabytes, just to see if the stability stays. So you can see it's maxing out the 1 gigabit connection completely. If I open up Task Manager, you can see that it's balancing between the two NICs at around a gigabit per second. So that's the file sharing. Let's have a look at some of the community apps. So we're on the App Center. These are the recommended apps by Terramaster. We have got a Docker Engine, which I will actually have a play about with because that sounds intriguing. I'm going to first set up Docker Engine, and then we can go to some other things. It looks like the Docker Engine is just the CLI, and then the Docker Manager is sort of a GUI that you can manage Docker with. Let's just install the Docker Engine and see what it's like. So you can see there, it's enabled, and now all I need to do is figure out how we get access to all apps. So I have sort of figured it out now. The Docker Engine is a CLI app, like I said, and the Docker Manager, once I install this, should appear on the desktop, as you can see there. So we'll click on that. You can see it showing the CPU and RAM usage. So the RAM's at 43%, and you can see there's project, container, image, networks, settings, log. So let's go and do it logically. I'm going to click on image registry. As you can see, it looks like it's pulling from Docker Hub. I'm just going to deploy HTTPD, which is light Apache download. I would have liked it if you double clicked it'd start downloading. Click apply on latest. Let's see if it does download. Again, it doesn't look like there's a progress bar. There is a downloading, but there's no progress bar. If I click on HTTPD, click on launch, I'll give it a name. You can do different things here, such as resource limits. I'll leave it at default. A volume, I'm just going to leave that. Bridge is fine. And the local port, if we edit that, I'm just going to do it to 9098. Next. I'm just going to leave all this at default. And let's see. You can see, there we go. So that's our HTTPD container. You can see it works. So that's Docker Manager. So we'll go to App Center and install Plex. So I've installed Plex. It is on the desktop. Let's open that. And it's asking for our generic details. I'll just pop these in now. So if I just go through the setup. So next, so home NAS, and then I'll just add a movies library. So films, and then let's see how this works. So it looks like volume 1 test is available. So we click add library, next, and finish. Now if I grab Big Book Bunny and put it onto our test folder, again that looks great, 115 megabytes per second, maxing out that 1 gigabit connection. And now let's scan the media library, go to films, and hopefully we should be able to in a moment see Big Book Bunny. So upon doing some research, if you want to use your own media folder, you do have to go to the shared folder that you want to use, click on edit, permissions, user group, and allow media. Once that's done, that should hopefully allow you to access your media library and let it scan. So you can see now Big Book Bunny is there. It's not pulled through the metadata yet, but that is a Plex issue. That's going to be it for this video. It's a brief summary. Do I think it's worth the money? I do indeed. Again, I want to thank Terramaster so much for sponsoring this video and sending me one of these to test and review for you. Thanks ever so much for watching this video. Goodbye.